welcome to flatcapeurotalk, and this is yet again another scout report where I will be detailing Daichi Kamada, the Japanese international, 25 years old. The Eintracht Frankfurt player, his contract expires in 2023. Certainly a player that I feel like a lot of Spurs fans should keep an eye out on, especially in the transfer market. So let's just crack into this one, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everybody's doing okay, especially maybe after that fantastic Spurs win the other night. We are going to be dissecting maybe this sensational talent, I must say, from Germany and also as well Japanese international. I must say again, Daichi Kamada. I do really think he is a fantastic player. I do feel like he is someone that we should take a look at as well. So let's just get a bit of background on the guy. Born in Ehime, Japan, on the island of Shikoku. If anybody is familiar with Japan, correct me if I'm getting any of the pronunciations wrong. They're kind of doing it for the first time, so I do apologize. The closest city, I believe, to his hometown of Ehime is Matsuyama, and Matsuyama supposedly is one of the bigger cities around that area in the southern, I believe, kind of districts or provinces of Japan. He's a prolific midfielder growing up, and has kind of made that switch towards kind of more of an attacking number 10 kind of winger central midfielder kind of role, almost playing off the striker, especially last season alongside Andre Silva. He actually had a decent kind of a educational upbringing, but seemed to have made a switch to being a footballer. He went to Matsuyama High School, or Higashiyama High School, excuse me. And Higashiyama High School apparently was not really very much of a sporting high school by any means, and he was still able to stand out quite heavily over there, which I think says a lot about the player, especially maybe anybody that had any sort of experience like that. Also, growing up maybe as a footballer or any other sport, especially if you don't go to a very big sporting high school, it is very difficult to get noticed, because you're not really, at maybe the best place to, maybe come out as a star. You have to really prove yourself, if that's the best way to put it. He does come from a family of footballers, though. That must be said. His father, I believe, was a footballer, and then as well as his brother is also a footballer. So there you go. I mean, he does have a decent upbringing in terms of the footballing sense. But he's also, in his high school days, he was able to attract a lot of interest from some J League clubs. He was one of the best players, again, probably ever, that you might say, that came from his Higashiyama High School. And so I would say, everybody must kind of take that into consideration. I would say very humble upbringing for the guy. He did join the J League club Sagan Tosu in 2015, and then there he did impress lots of people. He certainly impressed lots, and from that, kind of a stint in the J League, he was then able to get his dream move to Europe, to Eintracht Frankfurt. Eintracht Frankfurt. By no means were, I would say, taking a huge risk on the guy. They only paid about 2.5 million euros for the player, and then they did put him out on loan right away to, I believe, a Belgian Pro League club, a Jupiler League club named St. Troiden. And at St. Troiden, he did very well there, but it was Niko Kovac, the former or he's now an AS Monaco coach, but also former Bayern coach as well. And he was the one that kind of maybe gave him his stint, or kind of gave him that opportunity, or even he practically noticed him, to bring him over to Eintracht Frankfurt. So I think that must be said. But that is a bit of background on the player. Let me know if there's anything I did miss about the guy. I certainly feel like there probably, is plenty of interesting factoids that I would love to be made aware of, especially talking about this great talent that I feel like we should go after. Again, his contract does expire in 2023, so certainly a player I think we should be going after. His attributes include techers. He really does have a lot of the sensational skills on him. That must be said. He does have also incredible spatial awareness, and that's what I do mean by intelligence. His intelligence is certainly there, in terms of where he is on the pitch, what players are on his back, who might be approaching him, when maybe trying to perform some sort of skill, or try to play, a pass in behind, or even thread a through ball maybe in as well. He certainly has that intelligence that I think is just absolutely needed if he were to come to a Premier League side. And as well as vision is just sensational. He had 12 assists last season in the Bundesliga. That's just the Bundesliga alone. So he really was actually practically one of the best creators in all of the Bundesliga last season. His work rate also must be given a bit of respect as well. He actually has fantastic rate to win the ball high up the pitch, as well as on his defensive third. Something apparently his father taught him, being able to basically track up and down the pitch in maybe ways that most number 10s or, most kind of creative midfielders probably wouldn't want to or really need to or even feel like, they can. And that's what I think it even makes him a bit unique. So these are certainly very, I would say, quality attributes to have, especially if he were to make a Premier League move. Let's move on to his stats now. His stats, let's first start with the assists. He had 0.49 assists per 90. That did total out to about 12 assists over the entire Bundesliga season. That ranked him in the 94th percentile, everybody, out of all attacking midfielders and all wingers of the Bundesliga. So when you think if he's in the 94th percentile, that certainly practically puts him at, some of the best creative players in and around the winger and number 10 position of the Bundesliga last season. I think that is very, very important to say. Key passes, 1.99 key passes, total of 52 key passes for his side last season, ranked some of the highest in terms of key passes for Eintracht Frankfurt. That put him in the 82nd percentile in the Bundesliga. Passes under pressure. I think this is, again, he does like, to maybe release the ball at the final perfect moment. You might say that final best moment. And he had around 8.82 passes under pressure per 90. The guy is not afraid of a bit of contact or someone maybe dragging on him or pulling his shirt, maybe while he's able to maybe complete a through ball or whatnot. And he had around 231 passes under pressure last season completed. That put him in the 88th percentile again for his position of a winger slash attacking midfielder. And defensive shot creating actions. That's basically anybody that makes a defensive action, maybe a tackle, maybe just interception, high up the pitch that then leads to a shot creating action or basically leads to a chance. He ranked in the 88th percentile for, he ranked in the 92nd percentile for that, excuse me, and had around 0.15 of those per 90 and actually had a total of four that entire season, which I think does speak to the fact, again, that's a good Premier League attribute to have, a good Premier League trait to have. Yet 1.99 tackles per 90 as well, with a total of 52 tackles over the entire course of the Bundesliga season. That put him in the 85th percentile of all players in his position in terms of tackles made. I think, again, it just speaks to his work rate that I was talking about earlier. And then also maybe going on to maybe that spatial awareness, that kind of intelligence that I was talking about. He actually had 9.28 progressive passes received per 90 and 243 of those received over the course of the entire season. That did put him in the 88th percentile of all players of his positions in the Bundesliga. Again, kind of something that maybe Sonny is actually quite good at. Something that Lucas is quite good at is receiving progressive passes. And progressive passes, again, are 10 passes that are over 10 yards. So there you go, everybody. And then goal creating actions, he had 21 over the course of the entire season, 0.8 total over per 90 over the entire season. And then that put him in the 94th percentile. But without further ado, everybody, let's crack into this highlight reel, everybody. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting highlight reel, especially when it comes to his kind of just that spatial awareness that we were going to be talking about. So let's just take a moment, relax, and watch this guy go to work. Do believe, actually, everybody, again, some of the yellow kits I do think represent his St. Troiden days. This is, again, him just going that's a ridiculous goal. That is a ridiculous goal. That is him going against, I believe, one of my second clubs, Hertha Berlin, absolutely destroying most of the defenders there. Really, again, sensational player. This is his St. Troiden days. Does a disgusting ball roll there. Does a disgusting ball roll. The guy is actually a lot lankier than maybe people give him or maybe don't know. I really do like a guy that has good, long, lanky techers, especially. It's probably one of my favorite attributes in any person that, is in that number 10 kind of creative position, and someone that is a bit tall that can be able to not only win a knockdown or just be a bit stronger than maybe your average number 10, but also still has the techers and, the ability to get by a defender like anybody that might be a bit smaller. Just here, it really does show, though, I think his ability to get by his man a lot. Guy is honestly quite disgusting to watch at times. That is absurd. I mean, that is absurd. This might be for the Japanese international team, I believe. I'm not too sure. It does seem like maybe the white kits could be for the Japanese internationals. That's a shot from distance there. Again, I'm not too sure maybe what those kits are, but I can confirm. I can confirm that that is not Eintracht Frankfurt. Maybe for some of these, but again, the guy is an absolute talent, and I do feel like we should go after him as Spurs fans. His contract does expire in 2023. I don't see him signing a new contract unless he were to allow Eintracht Frankfurt to get that exorbitant fee if they were to take if any club were to take him away. But this guy really is again a real talent. Andre Silva, I will say, was certainly a player that he was able to use a lot. The guy scored 23 goals, if I'm not mistaken, last season, maybe 23, at least in the Bundesliga alone. So, he's probably missing his very good striking partner from last season. Does seem to have fantastic goals. Either for this might be again for maybe St. Troiden, that Jupiler League club here. That is a sensational ball. Again, this guy, we're speaking about the vision again. We're speaking about the vision. This guy certainly has the vision to open up any defense. I mean, really, again, I think he completed also as well the most through balls out of any player in the Eintracht Frankfurt side. I think he completed about 6 through balls in the entire Bundesliga season, which is a lot higher than you actually might imagine because there's only so many passes, that someone would actually qualify as a through ball when you're looking at FBref. That is a site that I use heavily when it comes to these stats on all players that I do for these scout reports, by the way. Could do a bit better with that finish, especially considering the pass. Again, he's very good at maybe those. That is a sensational goal. That is a sensational goal. Really, actually, expertly finished as well. Again, that might be his St. Jordan days, or it could be actually that Eintracht Frankfurt white kit. Do let me know, everybody. I'm not too familiar, apart from the kit right now that he's wearing as an Eintracht Frankfurt kit. And also, as well, everybody, this will be a video that I will put on the link in the description down below. It's from Brazil Scout Premium. I really do use them and would like to continue to use them. They have fantastic compilations for any of these players that I will be reviewing. Especially, I would check them out if you'd like to see maybe more of an on-time video, or just be able to watch it yourself and kind of react to yourself for it. That is ridiculous. The megs on this guy can actually be insane. The megs on this guy actually are insane. He really is an absolute baller. He knows how to absolutely tear apart anybody. I will say that. That was sensational. Excellent finish. Lovely. Absolutely lovely from the player there. Absolutely ruining some Werder Bremen players there. Really ruining some Werder Bremen players there. Oh, wow. That is ridiculous. And he scores against the scum as well. There you go, everybody. That looked like a goal against Arsenal as well. Shows that maybe he might be able to perform for us, maybe in an Arsenal match or against Arsenal. Maybe if we were to be able to sign the guy, I don't really feel like we could sign him for too much of a cheap fee. Probably something in the region of 30 million, probably even more than that. Considering Eintracht Frankfurt probably want to make a significant profit on the guy. But it must be said again, he was brought in for around 2.5 million pounds. He was brought in for around 2.5 million pounds. That's ridiculous. That's a beautiful pass. Again, it's not as much as I would say the ridiculous tackers that maybe we saw with David during the Kong and Lee video, but I would certainly say with Daichi Kamada, just look at the ability of this guy to find an open pass, and he's probably been let down lots of times as well. This last season, I think a lot of the players on his Eintracht team could certainly have done a lot better with some of these finishes. That is, oh, I wish that went in as well. That would have been a fantastic goal. He really knows how to slip people in behind. There you go. See ya. See ya again. And he finishes as a well. What a goal, everybody. That is ridiculous. Again, from his St. Croydon days, I believe. Wow. That is absurd. There you go. I wish probably could have done a lot better with the finish there. Oh, those are also Done that against PSV as well. He did that against PSV. You saw Bastos there, the Dutch striker as well. Jesus, I mean, have some mercy on these boys here, Daichi. Seems to be able to play a ball with any foot, in behind the defense as well. And he's also just a very clinical finisher by the looks of it. He only scored 5 goals in the Bundesliga last season. But again, I would just say, certainly a player that I feel like maybe his finishing ability should not be underrated by any means. But it is, as we're probably seeing here, to a degree, might be someone, kind of like a Christian Eriksen kind of role that we've been looking for over at Spurs. Someone that, a kind of role that has just been desperately needed. One that probably brought the best out of Dele Alli. That Christian Eriksen role, and to a degree, Daichi Kamada could be sort of that replacement, you might say, to Christian Eriksen. I think they're different kinds of players, but by what they do both have is that incredible intelligence and ability to play any ball in behind. Decent finish as well. That is a decent finish. Again, seems to be able to do it with either foot as well. That must be said. Seems to be able to do it with either foot. Wow. See ya. Wow. Again, some of these balls in behind are actually, it's almost like we're watching the same one sometimes. He really is that good with being able to slip his teammates in. Very decent again by the player, I would say. Seems to get a lot of highlights from those St. Jordan days, and I'm actually, a bit disappointed by that because again, he had a fantastic season at Eintracht Frankfurt. I just really think maybe let me know in the comments below. Is this maybe the Christian Eriksen replacement that we've been looking for some time? I certainly think he could be. He's definitely a player that I rate very highly, and also maybe from what we've seen as well, he was able to provide Andre Silva with a lot of goals this season. Andre Silva is one of the top scorers in the Bundesliga last season. And I do think that was mostly thanks to Daichi Kamada, as much as maybe Philip Kostic is also a player that I do highly rate in that Eintracht Frankfurt squad. I do think Daichi Kamada could take a lot of responsibility for it for sure. But that will do it, everybody, for this one. Do thank you for being able to watch this one with me. Not as much as maybe getting out of my seat kind of ones for this one, but I feel like what we saw today was a player that certainly could replace that Christian Eriksen role. And again, with 12 assists last season with the Bundesliga, he's only going to build on that. I've watched a few games of him so far this season. I think he's quite unlucky not to have any real output so far. He's still an absolute menace in the Bundesliga. He's really been actually kicking off on, to a degree, kind of the same level of form that he did before. I think he's just kind of missing that striking partner that he had last season. The strikers that they have this season at Eintracht Frankfurt are not so strong, and so I do feel like maybe also under a new manager, I believe it's Oliver Glasner has moved there. I do feel like Daichi Kamada could be a bit better served at probably a Premier League club. But do let me know, everybody, if this is a player that you certainly feel like we should be going after. I think it really should be, as I think a lot of people are a fan of this guy. But that'll be all for now. Please like and subscribe to this video, especially if you want to see more scout reports like this one. Maybe next time, I might be able to get a bit out of my seat for this one. I just feel like I kind of do, really know what this guy has to offer. So maybe, I was, quite expecting a lot of those highlights. So maybe I'll keep it a bit more organic, a bit more raw next time. But please like and subscribe, that big shiny red button. Please hit that notification bell as well. So never to miss another scout report like this one. And I'll be seeing you.